What is going down? YouTube, Niner Empire, your boy Danny Golding TV here in the house as the Niners are set to take on the Green Bay Packers, a team that they are 4-0 in the postseason since 2012. And boy, am I looking forward to this matchup. Now, real quickly, I'm just going to post the link in this YouTube chat. If anyone would like to join, we are streaming live on YouTube, both YouTube and Twitch. Today on my birthday eve, as tomorrow is my 27th birthday. Hold on, let me get this posted. Just get this link posted in the chat. So then if anyone would like to join, they can, and I'll pin it. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pin the thing on my phone, but regardless, good to be on here on YouTube and on Twitch. I have a feeling this is gonna be the year. I can just feel it. This is the Niners' best chance of winning a Super Bowl in the past, well, since 2019, but even more than 2019. So basically, this their best chance to win a Super Bowl in the past decade because this is the most dominant team in the past decade. Okay, I'm having trouble actually pinning this, but okay, whatever. So, but yeah, if anyone would like to join, the link is there. I can just keep reposting it. But yeah, it's good to be on here. Super wild card weekend was definitely a success. Definitely good to see both the Cowboys and the Eagles lose. Speaking of which, where are you hiding? Is an Eagles fan. Video maker here in the Trash Talk circle on YouTube. He says this is disgusting. Sports guys, you can't let the Niners win it all. Oh, where are you hiding? What do you think about the fact that since we came into your house week 13 and beat you, you guys have only won one game since then? How do you feel about that? You're 1-6 since then. And honestly, for those of you that watched all the streams that I made over the weekend, I predicted that the Buccaneers would win that game. I mean, they were technically the better seed, and it was in Tampa. But regardless, part of me thought that the Eagles just had to have won that. Like, I mean, come on. After the 10-1 start that they had, which the Niners definitely broke them after that, as where you're hiding proudly admits right there. I was like, okay, there's no way that the Eagles are just gonna absolutely completely choke like that. Like, I at least thought they would give them a game. I didn't expect them to lose 25-9, which was the final score. Like, I expected it to at least be a little bit of a game. Like, hey, Dallas got their ass blown out by the Packers, but at least they put up 28 points still, you know? I did not particularly expect the Eagles to flat out not show up at all to play. That was a little surprising. And it could have been worse. Like, honestly, if Baker Mayfield would have made more of his throws, because at the beginning he was missing some throws, then it would have even been more of a blowout than it actually was. 32-9. Okay, thank you. Where you're hiding for the correction. That's what I thought it was. Okay, 32-9. Thank you. Yeah, at first the Bucs were having trouble getting into the end zone. They settled for a field goal on that first drive, and then I think they got in the end zone the second drive. But I just remember, on that first drive, Baker Mayfield just absolutely missed a throw to Godwin, I think it was. So where are you hiding? Do you expect do you expect you guys to fire Nick Sirianni and possibly hire Bill Belichick? I mean, personally, I think it'd be a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't be weird because just like with McCarthy, despite all the success he's most likely going to get fired pretty soon. So Sirianni, I don't see it to be any different, but I'm usually not in favor of firing coaches that take you to so much playoff success. But in this case, I mean, most of the Eagle fans, they went from praising Sirianni, talking about how he was similar to how he reminded him of Bill Walsh, or I'm just actually referencing one Philadelphia radio host that went on with the Morning Roast with Bonte and Shaska at 95.7 The Game that last year made that point. And now all the Eagle fans, it seems like, want Sirianni already fired. So it's crazy how the tables turned in such a small period of time. But if you have an opportunity to hire a head coach like Bill Belichick, one of the greatest head coaches of all time, right up there with Vince Lombardi, Bill Walsh, Tom Landry, you got to do it, right? You got to. So the Niners, of course, got the Packers on Saturday. It's supposed to be a rainy one at Levi's. Well, I believe there was actually supposed to be a 75% chance of rain on Sunday and only going to be about a maybe 30% chance of rain on Saturday night when the game will be played. So that'll be better. Now, this Niners team just a couple years ago went into freezing-ass Lambeau Field. Quite a bit similar of the team, obviously with Jimmy G, not Purdy, and without CMC, but quite a bit of the same team, and they played didn't play the best game, but of course with the block punt with Hufunga and the touch, and returning for a touchdown, they got the win 13-10. I remember watching Jimmy G being interviewed after that game, and my friend who's a Cardinal fan, not even a Niner fan, like getting mad, being like, "Jimmy G, you didn't do shit. Why are you even being interviewed right now?" I love Jimmy G for the success that he's had, but that was not his best. That playoffs was not his best playoff performance. And now the Niners have, of course, played the Packers a number of times even before. In fact, I'm actually going to go over even the other playoff matches in my lifetime. We'll start off. Well, actually, we'll go with one a little bit before, about a year before I was born, a year to the month before I was born. This would be the 95 season. The year after they won their last Super Bowl, they lost to Brett Favre and the Packers 27-17. And then the exact month that I was born, about 13 days before I was born, January 4th, 1997, we lost to the Packers and Brett Favre 35-14. And then January 11th, 1998 would have been the 97 season. Actually, that's the year that the Packers won the Super Bowl. They lost to the Brett Favre and the Packers 23-10. But then, the 98 season, January 3rd, 1999, the catch two, as they call it. It'll never top the catch one with Joe Montana to Dwight Clark and 81-82 season, January 10th, 1982, the year where the Niners won their first Super Bowl. That will not even come close to topping that, but it is what is known as the catch two. Steve Young to Terrell Owens with Howard Cosell on the call. I actually should have downloaded that video to play there. My bad. But with that game-winning catch, the Niners got the win against Brett Favre and the Packers 30-27. And Where You're Hiding is asking me if I'm expecting a Super Bowl 47 rematch. I used to actually know my Roman numerals really well when I was really little, but I forgot all of them. But I assume that that's Super Bowl 47 you're asking about. Super Bowl 47 rematch with the Niners and Ravens. Yes, I do. Not just because the Super Bowl logo already has the red and the purple on it, but yes, I do expect it to be a Super Bowl rematch between the Niners and the Ravens, and I expect the Niners to come out more prepared for it than they did on that Christmas Day game. Absolutely. I don't expect it to be a blowout from either team. I expect it to be a close game. But hey, I don't even want to get to that yet because we still have two more wins to go. We still have the Packers on Saturday, and we still have the winner between. And well, if assuming we get that win, we still have the winner between the Buccaneers and the Lions, and we got the NFC Championship game, and that's when we get on to the Super Bowl. Um, so real quickly, I have some more people in the chat, so I'm going to post the link here again, and I'm also going to just real quickly text one of my friends to watch on YouTube. I think he would want to watch it on YouTube, so let me do that real quickly. By the way, for those of you that watched my stream on Saturday night, we got a good one. Got some my good friends that I interact with on some other chats in there. I kept having these issues with the microphone I was using, so right now I decided to get this old classic one. I actually broke the stand for it. Or I broke whatever the connection was. But hey, I can just hold it. I don't give a shit. It works perfect. But hold on, just give me 1 second, everyone. All right. Of course it was, and the Eagle fans in this chat will definitely agree with me. Is shout out also to JT56 that's watching. He says, congrats on still being alive. My Eagles fell apart. Well, now the Niners and the Eagles, of course, haven't had historically a rivalry, but when in these last couple of years we've developed a rivalry, so I definitely was happy to see the Eagles lose and be eliminated. But we can all agree that it was a real treat to see the Cowboys get their ass handed to them by Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Their first home loss of the season. And I did not I did not expect it. I expected as much as I wanted the Packers to win that game. A lot of different reasons. The main one being obviously I hating Dallas. Although I kind of did want to be able to face either the Cowboys or the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. I kind of wanted to. I actually really kind of wanted another NFC Championship game between the Niners and the Cowboys, the first one since '94. That would have been really cool. But I wanted the Packers to win partly because I thought that would be an easier team to face. But I'm not going to lie, although I do expect us to get the win on Saturday, the Packers cannot be a team that just gets taken for granted. All right. The Niners cannot take the Green Bay Packers for granted like it seemed like the Cowboys did. Jordan Love looked really good. Aaron Jones is a fucking beast. And by the way, Aaron Jones actually won me $75 because I placed a bet. I placed a $10 bet. I was at work before the game. I'm like, you know what? I went on DraftKings. I'm like, I want to just place some kind of bet before this game. Let's see what I can do. And the odds were in my favor. I was like, okay, well, let me just place a $10 bet that Aaron Jones will be the first player to score. And he was. He scored that first touchdown and then scored the second touchdown also, which made it 14-0. Which, by the way, as soon as Dak Prescott threw that interception or threw that pick six, I should say, to Darnell Savage, I knew the game was absolutely over. But man, I should have placed a bet. I should have seen if I could place a bet that he would score more, score on that first touchdown, and score again. But that, or maybe I should have put more than $10 on that. But that was good. I won $75 on that. Yeah, and yeah, he ended up scoring three touchdowns. And yes, where you're hiding, we can all laugh at the Cowboys. By the way, where you're hiding, I can't believe A Bomb sent you and I don't even know if I should bring this up because everyone else in the chat that isn't familiar with the NFL trash talk show is gonna be like, what the fuck? But did A Bomb really send you a dildo to place off that bet? Like, what? I mean, I laughed at that, but like at the same time, what the fuck? And I guess it was a year late of a bet. I don't know the whole story behind that. Maybe you could explain it a little bit. I was a little confused. But by the way, I gotta get A Bomb in here sometime. A Bomb's one of my good friends I haven't interacted with a whole lot in a while. SG Sports Talk. I see you're actually SG Sports Talk. I saw you on the Plus today on Damon Bruce's show today. The Plus. I know I saw you on there, and I remember when you were on last week. You said you wanted to join. If you want to, the link is in the chat. Come join me if you want. I would love to chop it up with someone here on my birthday eve. Today is actually also now. I made my first video. January 10th was my 15-year anniversary here on YouTube, and where I made my first ever video. But I made this channel, this Danny Golding TV channel, 12 years ago today on January 16th, 2012. So this is the 12-year anniversary of this channel, which we are growing. We hit 603 subscribers. Everyone drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. We're building this channel. We're going big. A year from now, I expect to have a lot more subscribers, but that's neither here nor there. And boy, I mean, I wouldn't even care if it would boost my channel or not. But I just want to see my team win the Super Bowl. But hey, that would definitely boost my channel if the 49ers won the Super Bowl, which I expect to this year. Yes, we can do a post game show on my channel. For Saturday, let's maybe do it a little bit late because I'm actually going to be in Tempe at the 49ers bar, the Varsity Tavern, which I have only gone to a couple times this year. I used to go a lot more. I've been there for a couple games, but I'm planning to go there for Saturday night's game for the divisional round game. So yeah, I am down to do a post game. It just is probably going to be a little. It's not going to be right after the game, but yes, if we can do it a little bit late that night. I mean, not too late. Maybe like uh 10 my time, so 9 Pacific time, kind of the same time we started this. I am absolutely down. That would be awesome. And again, if you want to just join and chop it up with me a little bit, you can. The link is right there. Yes, we can. GT56 said, I've never seen a team get held back by a coaching staff as bad as Philly this year. Yeah. I mean, Jalen Hurts was playing somewhat hurt. That's part of it. A.J. Brown was out. That definitely also contributed to it as well. But yes, absolutely. The Eagles coaching staff definitely did hold them back. A lot of people just said it was the curse of Dom. After, of course, Dre Greenlaw getting into it with Dom, the security guard, who I've actually learned is a good guy. You know, at first I was like, what the fuck is this jackass? Who the fuck is this jackass? What is he doing? But of course, he got ejected, and so did Dre Greenlaw, which was very controversial. But the Niners, of course, got that win, so no Niner fan was really that upset about it, and they made up. And apparently, I've heard that Dom is actually a really good guy. He's done a lot of good things for the community in Philly. Greg Papa, the 49ers announcer, his late brother was a sports commentator in Philly. Apparently, he was really close with them, and he's a good guy. So I'm glad that they patched everything up, but that being said, he had no business getting on being on the field, being part of the action. Of course, that was not his job. He's more of a, I mean, he wasn't your typical, actually, when you say security guard, he wasn't the actual security guard that's you see in the stands. He was more of an actual bodyguard as far as I've heard, but a lot of people said that's when the season turned down because the Eagles, of course, are 1-6 since that game, which was shocking. But another thing of note about that is, and I did a stream the night before the game, and I pointed this out. The Eagles in all their games before that were pretty much just hanging by a thread. All of the games that they'd only lost one game before that, but all of the games that they have won, or not all of them, but most of them were really close and could have gone either way. JT56 said, why did the Phillies San Fran rivalry start? By the way, apparently it's really bad to call it San Fran if you ever go there. And I didn't. And hey, I did not even know that myself. I used to call it that myself, and I learned that that's actually very frowned upon. But anyway, sorry, I got a little off the track there. But why did the Philly SF rivalry start? Like, I just remember SF fans being pissed after the NFC title game. It didn't really feel like something that would get to this level. Yeah, that's true. True. Excited. A lot of it is though, and I don't want to throw all your guys' entire fan base, because I actually am close with a lot of Eagles fans, including both of you guys on my stream, you and Where You're Hiding. You guys are really cool people, and one of my good friends, Rob Abrams, who I met on here back in 2010, who I've met a couple times in real life, both New York City and in New Jersey when I visited there, and a girl named Phillies Orca, who's a big Phillies fan, mainly also an Eagles fan. I talk to her a lot. So there's a lot of Eagles fans that are good fans that I'm close with, but a lot of fans as well are jackasses. Like, the Eagle fans at the games have reputations. Obviously, it's not all of them, but a lot of them have reputations of just throwing shit at opposing fans for not even doing anything wrong and all that. So that may have been part of it. And there were videos of a lot of Niner fans being treated poorly in that NFC Championship game, including some Bay Area radio guys, Joe Shatsky, the Butcher Boy, and Bate Hill. They had a video of where they're walking into the stadium, people were just throwing shit at them. But once they got to their seats, it was all good. So it's a sort of majority, and Philly fans have that reputation. And I guess that's not specifically answering your question as when it actually started, because to be honest, I don't think that's Niners Eagles isn't at least not yet. It's not a huge rivalry, although it's definitely getting there. And that's why it would have been cool if we played you guys in the playoffs again this year, because then that rivalry could have kind of continued. But Warrior Hayden points out that their biggest margin of victory was Week 14 versus Tampa, or was 14 points versus Tampa and Miami. Got you. Okay. Yeah, no, that's true. I think it's more because every fan base has bad fans, including Niner fans themselves. So I mean, heck, a lot of the Niner fans on Twitter annoy the shit out of me with some of their stupid takes. Already turning against their quarterback after that's been their best quarterback since Jeff Garcia after one bad start. Like, a lot of those fans piss me off. So yes, every fan base does have that reputation, but Philly fans in general are known for having it a little bit more than other fan bases, if I'm being perfectly honest. Hold on one second. But yeah, I'm glad we could all agree that, because all Niner fans and Eagles fans in this chat right now can all agree that it was a pleasure to see the Cowboys get their ass beat by the Packers on Sunday. So I want to post the link one more time on here. It doesn't. Okay, actually, I can. Okay, here we go. I can pin it. I finally figured out how to pin this. Okay, or not that I didn't figure it out, but it wasn't getting the option to. So there we go. Yeah, so link is pinned. So if anyone would like to join, you can just click on that pinned link right there. Got 3 people watching on YouTube. Got 1 viewer on the Twitch chat, and I already know exactly who it is. SG Sports Talk channel. Dom was a big super fan. Hey, SG Sports Talk channel. So since you were in Damon's chat, he was talking about Chuba Purdy. Of course, Chuba Purdy, I guess, is committing to go to San Jose State. And I was confident that Chuba was actually his real name. Because since, of course, for those of you that don't know, I live here in Arizona. Brock Purdy is from Arizona, and he played high school football in Arizona, of course, too. And one of my friends that I started working with last year, played football with Chubba Purdy, and I could have sworn that I thought that I heard from him and that was his real name. So I told Dan, I was like, "Oh, but Chubba Purdy actually is his real name." One of my friends played high school football with him, and then everyone in the chat is like, "Well, actually, Preston is his real name." So I'm like, "Oh." JT56 says, "I'm upset yet glad y'all ended up choosing Purdy. I remember other Niner fans saying they wanted Lance to get another shot. I was one of them too. I wanted Lance to get another shot, but not to be the starter though, just to be the backup. Because it's always having more good quarterbacks on your roster, the better. And I don't think that Trey Lance got enough of a sample size to say that he's a bust or a bad quarterback. Purdy obviously outplayed him. Purdy is way better than him, but Trey Lance can still be a good quarterback in this league. It might take him a little bit longer to develop. He's what Kyle Shanahan wanted as a mobile quarterback, which Purdy is, although he can run, he's more of has the cannon for an arm and can extend plays and makes the best decisions in the pocket. Lance has a good arm too, but he's more of a mobile quarterback. Which, if in this league, you got to be like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes to really have a lot of success as a mobile quarterback. But that being said, I hate the fact that Trey Lance is the third string quarterback on the Cowboys. As ridiculous as it would have been, I wish he was a third string quarterback for us, with Donald being the number 2 and Lance being the number 3. And I'm glad they were able to get a 4th round pick, I believe it was, back when they traded Lance to the Cowboys. But it sucks that he didn't get it. I'm not just saying that because I hate the Cowboys. I'm not just saying that that's why I don't want Lance to be there. It's more the fact that he's going to have to be the third string to both Dak Prescott and Cooper Rush. If anything, I wish he could have just been on one of our quarterback, which would have been ridiculous for all the draft picks we had to end up. I mean, it would be kind of comical in a funny way if it ended up being the case with Purdy being the last overall pick and being the number 1 starter, with Lance being a first round pick that the Niners gave up a lot for. But I don't know. I wish at least he would have gotten an opportunity to be a starter or at least a second string on another team rather than be the third string in Dallas. And it's actually funny. I have heard, because a lot of Cowboy fans are down on Dak now, of course. So I heard a clip somewhere where one of them was like, "Oh, Trey Lance is going to be our guy now." I don't know why they wouldn't have said Cooper Rush would first, but who knows? Hold on a second. I'm gonna go get some water real quickly. My voice is getting a little tired, so hang tight for a few seconds. I will be back in about a couple minutes. Just gonna get some water so I can rest my vocal cords a little bit. Oh. What's up, everyone? Back here. Where you're hiding says, "I do feel like our fans are more singled out than other fan bases." Yeah. And again, Philly fans, just based on their reputation for decades, are gonna be singled out more. It's not saying they're the only fans that have bad apples, or they're the only fan base that has bad apples. There's a lot of them out there, but yeah, no, JT, I know exactly how you. Well, I don't want to say I know exactly how you feel, but I see where you're coming from. I'd be pissed if I was from Philly and I had that reputation. But I would be pissed at all those Bad Apple fans in general. Ernie Chavez, the 95-7 The Game Morning Roast Doobie Award winner. Welcome to the chat, Ernie. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Look, I got the better microphone now. I don't have that. I'm not using this shitty microphone that we kept going out on me. That was really annoying. Ernie, welcome in to the chat. Thank you for joining. Just interacting with some Eagle fans on here, kind of rubbing it in their faces a little bit that it's die Eagles die for them. By the way, I reposted a video on Instagram from the NFL memes where I just had the fly Eagles fly with a bunch of trash cans and Eagles since November. AJ Cruz, thank you for joining as well. AJ Cruz is another guy I interact with on Damon Bruce's chats, the 95.7 chats, and the KMBR chats. Thank you for watching as well. Really appreciate it. But one thing that, what I was also saying, one thing is us Niner fans and Eagles fans can all have in common is it was both a treat to see the Cowboys also get eliminated on Sunday. Oh, and another thing is, I was telling everyone, Ernie and AJ, that I actually won $75 on when Aaron Jones scored the first touchdown because I was at work before the game. I was like, what? How can I make just a little bit of money? And for those of you that don't know, I do place bets on DraftKings. I don't place like big ones. You'll never see me placing a $100 bet. I like to place little $10, $20 bets, small bets like that. I actually like to put down $20 each year on my teams winning the championship in each sport. That's one thing I like to do that's kind of cool. Rockin' New Era 84. Welcome in into the hold on. Mic just went out. Fuck. Okay, yeah, the mic restarted, but I just fixed it. It's funny, right when you pointed out the microphone. Yes, that is a big nice microphone. Doesn't it actually look like the mic that Tom uses and when he does the show from home? Tom Tolbert, for those of you that don't know it from KMBR, doesn't it look like the mic he has? It was on the stand before. I was trying to make it better, and I somehow, I think, broke a part that comes on that, so I can't hook it back up to the stand, so I kind of have to hold it. I'm working to get that fixed. But it is a really good microphone. I do like it. And actually, I don't even have to have these headphones in. Actually, I can just put them in if anyone joins. But these headphones are linked to the mic, and they're not Bluetooth or wireless headphones like the other ones, but they do the job. They do the job. Yeah, kind of bummed there won't be an SF Dallas NFC Championship game. That would be a nice payday for my Niners. Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah. Because you can just resell them to all those Cowboy fans. Well, I just wanted that classic rivalry back. The fact that this rivalry is back, this rivalry that was before my time, before I was even born, is now back these last couple years. And even this year, kicked their ass in the NFC, and then they ended up having a really good season. And after that, for the most part, until losing in the playoffs, they were completely undefeated at home, which is why I did predict them to get the win. But I really wish I didn't overlook the Packers. I should have at least anticipated it to be a closer game, and I hope the Niners do not do that on Saturday. But anyways, before I got cut off, yeah, I placed a $10 bet that Aaron Jones would be the first player to score, and I won $75. So I get to just deposit $85 into my bank account. And he ended up actually getting 3 touchdowns as well. He scored the second touchdown. They scored another touchdown in the second half. And Jordan Love played really well too. So the Niners, obviously on defense, need to contain Aaron. And Eric Armstead being back is going to be a key factor in stopping the Packers running game with Aaron Jones. And yeah. I know, yeah, where's my cat and dog? I need to have a cat and dog too. That'd be perfect. I do. It's kind of cool holding it. because one thing with the stand is if I did just plug it in, it wouldn't be visible on camera, so it's kind of like a radio mic. So I fuck with this. I like this a lot. It's really cool. Absolutely. Let's see. I wanted to. Okay. Yeah. When JT56 asks, so what is the biggest NFC West rivalry for the Niners right now? I would still say the Seahawks. That I would definitely say that. And it's pretty much only been a rivalry since 2011 ish. It really hasn't been much of a rivalry before. Although even before that, in the trash talking circle on YouTube, I was going back and forth with Seahawks fans even before that. But of course, the Seahawks only made it to the NFC West in about 2002, I believe it was. So it wasn't. It's obviously isn't going to be a classic rivalry. But as far as and some people might say the Rams, and that's what it should be. I mean, it's San Francisco versus LA for crying out loud. Of course, the Niners Rams should be the biggest rivalry, but as far as the NFC West goes, but no, I would still say it's the Seahawks. And Ernie says the Cardinals. Yeah. I definitely would not say it's the Cardinals. I remember actually back in 2008, 2009, the 08-09 season when when the Cardinals made it to the Super Bowl that year, losing to the Steelers. I anticipated it to be a Niners Cardinals rivalry. And that's actually I started making videos on YouTube when I turned 12 in January of 09. And when I discovered the whole trash talk group, the Niner fans would go at it with Cardinal fans and Seahawks fans. And for those of you who don't know, this whole trash talking circle it started with just the NFC East fan bases. Back in 2006, a Cowboys fan would make videos, and then an Eagles fan responded to him, and that's how the whole thing started, and then just went on from there. And I don't really make a whole lot of videos for it anymore. I still follow it, but it's not much of a huge thing. It's something where people make hate weeks during the week, and then their team loses, they make a crow video, and there's a lot of bets going on that, which where you're hiding an Eagle fan was part of that bet. But no, the Niners and the Cardinals have never really been a rivalry. I anticipated it would be then, mainly because they have, for the most part, sucked. And the years when they both the Niners and the Cardinals did both make the playoffs a couple of years ago, but most of the time they're not good at the same time. So it hasn't really been a whole lot of a rivalry. But I know the Cardinal fans that are out there do hate the Niners because we always take over that stadium when we play. Always. No matter how bad we are, we always will take over that stadium. that club actually reminds me of Dan Dibley, of course. And actually, I went to my first NFL game when I was 12 in week 1 of 2009. It was when Sean Hill and the Niners beat the Cardinals actually to start off the year 1-0. I remember, and this was back when the Niners, of course, hadn't lost the Super Bowl yet. So there was a Niner fan that had a sign that says, "How does it feel to lose a Super Bowl? Because I don't know." And there were some drunk Cardinal fans nearby that were cussing at him, and they were like, "Oh shit, man, fuck this guy." Biggest NFC, I think because they beat Niners in postseason. Seahawks aren't the same. Yeah, that is true. I mean, especially with Pete Carroll not being the coach of the Seahawks anymore, this rivalry is not the same as what it was. But I mean, the Seahawks they're definitely aren't as relevant, but they're still having. I mean, they made it. Did play them in the playoffs last year, so I mean that rivalry is not dead yet. But I would say the Rams. I mean, in my opinion, it's the Seahawks, but the Rams can definitely qualify as the biggest rivalry in the NFC West too, because San Francisco versus LA, and heck, we played them in the NFC Championship game just 2 years ago. We beat them. What was it? Eight straight times? Or no, it was like 5 straight times in the regular season, I believe, up until we finally lost to them in the meaningless game, Week 18, a couple weeks ago. But then to beat them all those times in the regular season, then lose to them in the NFC Championship game when it mattered is, yeah. Oof. So yeah, it's both the Niners and the Rams and the Niners and the the Niners and the Seahawks definitely have a rivalry. The Niners and the Cardinals don't really, but it would be cool to see I mean, I'm definitely not rooting for it to happen for a while because I want the Niners to be the best team in the NFC West and the most competitive team in the NFC West. And I don't want the other teams in the NFC West to be competitive at all. But it would be cool if eventually we do kind of get a little bit of a Niners and Cardinals rivalry. That would be cool. So what I was actually going over a little bit ago is all the times that the Niners have played the Packers in the postseason in my lifetime. And of course, the Niners are 4-0 against the Packers since 2012. And let's say it's basically, I can just go with the all-time playoff matchups. Basically, is my lifetime, despite the very first one, which was on January 6th, 96, the 95 season year after the Niners won the Super Bowl. It lost to Brett Favre and the Packers 27-17. And then the exact month that I was born, about 13 days before I was born, we lost to Brett Favre and the Packers 35-14. Following January 11th, 98, the 97 season, it lost in the NFC Championship game to Brett Favre and the Packers 23-10. But then the next year, the 98 season, this happened.
Well, you got those big, tall, wide receivers. And Stokes and Owens. Rice can get up.
And this is where they have to earn their money.
Three-man rush for Green Bay again. Young fires. And the pass is almost and is intercepted by Newsom. Now they say no, was not intercepted. The official closest never made a signal.
Well, that one official was pointing down that the ball hit the ground.
Did it?
That's what he was saying. The official said it did.
Yes, it did.
It did. He was right. He was right on it, and he called it. He pointed right to the ground, saying the ball hit the ground.
8 seconds left. Got to go to the end zone now.
They have to go to the end zone now and hope that they either score a touchdown or they get it within 8 seconds so they get another play.
Three-man rush, and Young stumbles on the way back and fires up the middle. Pass is caught by Owens. Owens made the catch.
This is amazing.
Seconds left.
Terrell Owens was having a rotten day, but on one play here, does he make up for it? Watch this, it's a zone, it's a prevent defense. There's 3 Packers around him, they release right there, and Steve Young throws a perfect pass in there. Holy moly.
I have heard that movie.
3 seconds left as they line up for the extra point. Detmer, Reggie. And it's 30-27, San Francisco.
And the 49ers are getting a monkey off their back today.
Unbelievable.
So that's, of course, I believe that's Howard Crisell and John Madden on the call. And, man, John Madden's a legend. So good to hear John Madden again. So that was 98-99 season, and they lost to the Packers in the 2002 wildcard game, which would have been the 2001 season, 25-15. And this is where the magic started, basically, with the Niners and Packers in this playoffs. And man, the Packer fans are definitely want their revenge on Saturday, because in recent history, we have just absolutely owned the Green Bay Packers. And it all started with this big Kaepernick game, which I remember pretty well, actually. I watched it at this Niner Empire restaurant and bar. I wasn't old enough to drink, of course, then, but I watched it. Just ate food, drank soda, and hung out with the AZ 49er Empire for that game. And this was absolutely epic. And this is basically what made Kaepernick, I'd say, the most relevant. And hold on. Oh, well. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Second down and 4. Kaepernick keeps it. Fooled everybody. Colin Kaepernick. What a game. Touchdown. Eric Walden out here, he collapses, and I'm not sure he knows that Colin Kaepernick has the ball yet. He's running around, and then Charles Woodson, he's unable to get there to help. Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, Josh Allen, the way he runs, it's a lot similar to Kaepernick when he was at his best. Well, JT56, I gotta disagree with you there. Even 2012 Kaepernick, I would still take Purdy. As dominant as 2012 Kaepernick was, and I remember that really well. I remember being so excited when the Niners drafted Cap back in 2011, because I only started watching the Niners when I was 10 years old. It's been nothing but Alex Smith and then a little flash of JT O'Sullivan and Sean Hill. Sean Hill is actually, I low-key was a big fan of his, actually. Of course, he started the first NFL game I went to where the Niners got a win. And I thought that Singletary gave up on him a little too quickly because he could have been, because he was starting to look good in that system. And then he had a bad game. He got benched, and Alex Smith came back, and the rest is history. But so it's basically been Alex Smith for the most part completely since I started watching the Niners. So then when Kaepernick, when they drafted Kaepernick in 2011, I was really excited. I was like, this is the future. And of course, Alex had his best year in 2011. They made it to the NFC Championship game. They came close to winning, but we all know what happened with Kyle Williams and the fumble and all that. And then the next year, but hey, even before that game, of course, he had what was known as the catch, or the Steve Young to Terrell Owens was known as the catch 2. Of course, it'll never come close to the main catch to Joe Montana or Joy Clark, but that was known as the catch 2. The catch 3 was actually Alex Smith to Vernon Davis in that Saints divisional game in 2011, 2012. That would be that's known as the catch 3, and that was incredible. And I remember Ted Robinson on the call was like, never doubt Alex Smith again. And so Alex Smith won over the Niner fans. Things are looking good. And he has like the best completion percentage in the NFC, I think, before he got injured. And that classic Rams game where they tied and Alex Smith got injured. And then the next week, the Niners played the Bears in a Monday night game, and Kaepernick got the start for the first time. And he absolutely lit up the Bears. Of course, he was funny. He was a former draft pick in baseball by the Chicago Cubs. So that's where he kind of made himself be known to the world. But if not then, definitely in the playoff game against the Packers, for sure. And Rocky New Area 4 says Cap dominated, but Lee caught up to him, and Cap didn't have any touch on his throws. They were all fastballs. Yeah, and I've never seen a quarterback regress the way Cap did, because starting in that 24 season, he just looked absolutely awful. And this was following the year where we took him to the NFC Championship game. So I have never seen a quarterback regress the way that Kaepernick did. And looking back on it, it would have been probably the better decision for Harbaugh to keep Alex Smith as the starter when he was healthy, but it was just, but no, like, nah, even, I shouldn't even say that because as good as Kaepernick looked, it would have been, and as obviously him being the younger quarterback, it would have been weird to go back to Alex after that. It just would have been. So that was the right decision then. But who knows? I mean, some people think they may have actually won the Super Bowl if Alex Smith was the starter for the rest of the year. Oh yeah, are you talking about in that Saints game actually? Because I think I remember that too. Yeah, the play because before and Drew Brees and the Saints went back and scored after, but Alex got a running touchdown before then. I think that's what you might be referring to. Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. JT56, y'all take Prime Staley or Trent Williams? Ooh, I would have to go with Trent Williams. Probably, maybe it's recency bias, but Joe Staley was an absolute beast, and he played for the Niners for 13 years, and it's really a shame he wasn't able to get a ring. That's probably the player most deserving of a ring during when we lost to the Chiefs. That really sucks. He wasn't able to get a ring because. Yeah, that's a good point, AJ, because when Kaepernick just had to throw, and yeah, Harbaugh limited his runs, he did not look as good. He seemed like he just lost his confidence then. Yeah, absolutely. And hey, Purdy would not even be as good without Trent Williams. That's how good Trent Williams is. CMC wouldn't be as dominant of a running back as he is without Trent Williams. Absolutely. So going over the Niners and Packers playoff matchups, went over the big Kaepernick game, 2012-2013. Then we go the following year to 2013-2014. And the Niners got the win in Green Bay, and I do remember that game. That was a down-to-the-wire game. They got the win 23-20. I think it was a David Akers game-winning field goal, I believe. And then we fast forward to 2019, where a lot similar to 2011, the Niners absolutely came out of nowhere, and they started off 8-0. Jimmy G didn't look like he was having an MVP year or anything, but he looked really good at the beginning of the year. He would throw maybe one interception a game, but would also throw like a couple touchdown passes, and the running game was going strong. Raheem Mostert kind of came out of nowhere that year. The Niners also had Matt Breida and Tevin Coleman as well in their running game. But Raheem Mostert, boy, made a name for himself on January 19th, 2012 January 19th, 2020 in the NFC Championship game. Take a look.
It's George Kittle at the bottom.
Somehow the handoff into the arms of Mostert. He's gone. Touchdown, San Francisco.
They're running a trap with the right guard, Mike Person. He comes across. They get Staley up at the next level, the left tackle, and there is a canyon for Raheem Mostert.
Toss, running right. Mostert cuts back. A lot is asked of the Packers defense to try to hold him in it right now. Here is Mostert again. Mostert in the backfield. He gets it. Samuel out in front.
That was the only issue with him.
Touchdown.
Because when he was healthy, he was dominant. But he was not able to stay healthy.
Debo
It's
Samuel,
such a blessing that
leading the
CMC has been
charge
able to stay healthy
here in this first half. Makes a
we
good
acquired
block.
him from the
Mostert's able to
Panthers.
get it in.
That is
6
such a
straight
blessing,
running
dude.
plays on that drive
You're
by
at
the
a
49ers
pretty much completely healthy CMC.
to increase their lead.
But you need to have him healthy up until
Toss to Mostert, cuts
Lombardi in
back.
February. He's such a
Rumbles
difference.
down inside the 35. High snap. Handoff for the first
Yes,
down
that
and
was a
more.
domination
Mostert.
situation. And hey, that's
Handoff
good
is to
thing about Kyle
Mostert.
Shanahan's
They
offense.
cannot
The running
stop
game
the
is
run.
Always so dominant.
Second down and
Of course, it's
9.
more
Here
than
he is
help the
again.
running back himself, but-
Mostert touchdown, his third.
Now, a thing of note for this game is the Niners only threw the ball 8 times. Jimmy G only threw the ball 8 times in this game. Now, Saturday's game, I would not be shocked if we see maybe
Thrown
only
6 passes.
12 12 passes in
Mostert
general.
inside.
from
Another
Purdy.
first down carry and more. How about a
And heck, they
touchdown?
could potentially, because they just got to run it down their throat with CMC and Elijah Mitchell. Probably not, but possibly even Jordan Mason.
Right here,
And you can get both CMC and Mitchell, just run it all over their throats. Purdy doesn't even have to do a whole lot. He can kind of just
Handoff,
do like
first
something where
down.
he just is a long throw. But
And
that's
the
not
conversion
going to
by
happen realistically. And I do expect to see Purdy throw a lot of passes to Kittle and Ayuk and Debo. I expect us to use Debo in the running game too as well. A lot with the jet sweeps, possibly even. Dude, that would be insane if we did. If we had both Mostert and CMC on the roster, the Niners would just be unstoppable. Absolutely. And I think I forget what it was, but both CMC and Mostert this year both had the same number of touchdowns, was it? I forget exactly what it was, but now the MVP award should be more than just a quarterback award. I truly think that CMC, if it wasn't for the fact that Lamar Jackson was able to be such a dominant quarterback with not that good of a receiving core and just not that good of an offensive roster in general, that means that he definitely should be the MVP. But if it wasn't for that, I would say that CMC should have been in that conversation. And it hasn't only been a quarterback award, but it seems like it is, for the most part, just a quarterback award. Okay, both had 21 TDs, yeah. And heck, if the Dolphins didn't have to play their first playoff game in the fourth coldest game of all time in Kansas City, then they possibly could have won. And the Dolphins actually have the longest playoff drought now. They won their last playoff game in 2000. And of course the Lions ended their 32-year drought, and they won their first playoff game since the 91 season. It was January 5th, 1992. And who did they beat? None other than the Dallas Cowboys in that game. Actually, one of my friends that I went to high school with is a huge Lions fan. He actually just had a kid a few months ago, and I would see him. He would post, even at the beginning of the season, he would post pictures of him and his wife and his kid just all decked out in Lions gear. And the Lions had an incredible season. I've congratulated him a lot on that. I've been happy for them, and they have such good, long-suffering fans. But I can't believe their fan. I mean, it's a playoff game. I don't think they weren't necessarily booing Stafford himself. They're kind of just booing booing the Rams because that was their opponent. But it seemed like a lot of Lions fans were booing Matthew Stafford, that's not really cool, because Matthew Stafford made the Lions relevant for years and he's had some success there as well. And they made it to the playoffs during my junior year of high school. They made it to the playoffs. They lost to the Cowboys in the first round, but they had a good year. And of course, they won their first NFC North title of all time, because the NFC North didn't exist in '93 when they won their last one, and they won their first division title in 30 years this year. So they've had a magical year, which will end if we face them in in the NFC Championship game, and could even potentially end with the Buccaneers this week. But I don't see. I see the Lions beating the Buccaneers. Like Baker Mayfield just isn't gonna take you to an NFC Championship game. I don't think. He missed a lot of throws against the Eagles. He looked good when he was in rhythm, but he also missed a lot of throws. Oh, wow. Yeah, I did not know that. Yeah, so that was probably one of the coldest games. And yes, tomorrow is my birthday, as a matter of fact. Actually, it's in about an hour, technically, for me. About 2 hours in the Pacific time zone. Yes, it is about to be my birthday. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be... Sheesh. Hard to believe. I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually going to go Top Golf with some friends. Thank you. Shafiki, I feel like it sometimes, you know. Oh yeah, there were a lot of funny memes about the Lions winning their first playoff game in 32 years. Everyone was like, I can't believe it was the first time that anyone sent a text about the first time in history anyone sent a text about the Lions winning a playoff game. Thank you, AJ. Really appreciate it. Yeah, look, tomorrow's gonna have a good birthday tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. It's really cool to have a birthday in January, because that means you're pretty much the same age for most of the year. And when it's a new year, I can kind of tie the New Year's resolutions in with the birthday. Some people might be like, "Oh, why would you want to have a birthday so close after Christmas?" Well, it's the best. You get presents for Christmas, and then less than a month later, you get more presents for your birthday. It's the best. Absolutely. So the Niners actually played the Packers one more time since that complete running game domination sensation a couple months before the COVID-19 global pandemic, as a couple years ago. And the Niners going to Lambeau, January 2022. It's definitely not one of their best offensive performances. They did not score an offensive touchdown, but Talanoa Hufanga blocked a punt and returned it for a touchdown. And the Niners ended up getting the win 13-10. And they advance to the NFC Championship game. So the Niners are 4-0 against the Packers in the postseason since 2012 against Aaron Rodgers. So this is the first time they're going to, and of course, I played them in the playoffs in the Brett Favre era, the Aaron Rodgers era, now in the Jordan Love era. By the way, man, the Packers are just spoiled of a franchise that have. I'm not going to call Jordan Love necessarily a franchise quarterback just yet, but they're so lucky to have 3 franchise quarterbacks like that, like just one after the other. But the Niners, of course, were with Joe Montana and Steve Young, and after that, it took them up until just last season to finally find their real franchise quarterback. They thought they had it with Alex Smith. They thought they had it with Kaepernick. They thought they had it with Jimmy Garoppolo. They thought they had it with Trey Lance. But it ended up being with Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the 2022 NFL draft, Brock Purdy. Oh, okay. Happy early birthday to you, Rockin' Ernesto as well. That's awesome. Yeah, that is kind of a disappointment for them that Favre and Rodgers have only won 2 Super Bowls total. That it is, but it is so hard to win a Super Bowl in this league. The fact that the Niners still haven't won one in my lifetime after they won 5, after they were the first NFL team to win 5 before that, says all you need to know. So some new other headlines. The Falcons have interviewed Bill Belichick. And I saw a funny meme about that of where they would have asked him, have you ever been in any situation where the odds were against your favor and you pull through or something? Would of course Bill Belichick found himself down 28-3 against the Atlanta Falcons, and Tom Brady and the Patriots came back and got the win, of course. So if he ends up being the head coach in Atlanta, that would be pretty ironic, wouldn't it? Jim Harbaugh, of course, the former Niners coach Jim Harbaugh, who just won his first national championship in Michigan, his alma mater, after being the head coach there for almost a decade now. There's a lot of talks about he might go back to the NFL. Maybe maybe the Cowboys will hire him. Oh my God, I would hate for either Harbaugh to go to the Cowboys or the Seahawks. Obviously, I would not not like that at all. I wanted to like go to the Chargers or something in that case. If he goes back to the NFL, I still think he could stay in Michigan. Of course, he had all those NCAA scandals last year, and he finally won a national championship. So people were saying, "Oh, he might just want to stay and might want to try to go to the NFL and actually do what his brother did against him that he hasn't been able to do, win a Super Bowl championship." And that's got to be even more stunning that it was against him as well when his brother won it. Um, yeah, Harbaugh absolutely should go to the Chargers, but I have a feeling he might just stay in Michigan. And I think it kind of would make sense for Bill Belichick to want to stay on the East Coast and coach the Eagles. And I've heard a lot of people say that they don't think that he would want to work for Jerry Jones because he's not going to have any control. He's not going to be the one calling the shots like he did in New England. I mean, that would be the case either way. I mean, he only was able to call the shots in New England because of all the success he had, and maybe he'll get success. Maybe he'll get to call the shots because of him being one of the greatest head coaches of all time. But that's all in the past. It's all about the present. Heck, maybe even you could see either Harbaugh or Belichick coaching the Seahawks as well. I would not like that, but of course. And actually, Larry Krueger, Damon Bruce asked if he was high when he suggested this, but he suggested that maybe if the Niners don't win the Super Bowl this year, and heck, even if they do, and Steve Wilkes gets hired by another team, maybe Bill Belichick would be the defensive coordinator of the Niners. Hey, that would be cool, but I don't particularly see that happening. But you never know. You never know. If anything, if I would think it'd be more likely he would do that in a case where we win the Super Bowl and Steve Wilkes gets hired as head coach of the Chargers or something, that then you would see Bill Belichick consider being a defensive coordinator for the Niners if he were to do that. But I would see him more wanting to be the head coach, if anything. Heck, if I were in his shoes, I might just want to retire at this point. I mean, you've had so much success. I read a book out of the library a few months ago about just freezing cold takes, and of course there were a lot about. One of them was about Steve. One of the big ones was about Steve Young, but another big one was about Bill Belichick back in 2000. People did not expect him to have success in New England. It's, after everything that happened with him with the Jets before that, a lot of people did not expect him to have the success that he had in New England. So, man, how bad are the Warriors, by the way? I'm so happy Draymond's back, but let's see. Hold on, let me check the standings exactly. I want to I think that the Warriors are 18 and 32. Let me double check that. Yeah, excuse me, 18. Did I say 32? I meant 18 and 22. They lost yesterday 116 to 107 to the Grizzlies. Don't think this will be the year, but I'm glad Draymond is back, and hopefully we don't see him lash out like he did again. I was actually at the game in Phoenix where he socked Nurkic in the face and that. And it's funny, I didn't see it in real time because it was hard to see it, and obviously they don't show replay. And I think they really should have showed the replay of that at any sporting event. If you pay good money to see, you should see any replay, no matter if it's a positive or negative replay for your team or anything. So I actually had to watch the stream of the game when it was delayed, and clearly has had some anger management issues. He always says the right things. He's one of the most well-spoken uh, athletes in all of sports, but he just actions speak louder than words, though, and he's had some issues, but hopefully he's able to work that out. And this isn't going to be the year, but hopefully he's back in that play. Obviously, yet anything could happen, but I don't particularly expect this to be the year. Okay, we are back. We are back. Yes, reconnected. Okay, there we go. Um, oh well, actually, the Suns got the win, 119 to 117. It's funny, Rocket. I actually looked at tickets for Suns tickets about a month ago, and I was like, oh, they play the Kings the day before my birthday. Maybe I should go because they actually had really cheap tickets for that game. So I was gonna, I actually forgot I was thinking about actually going to that game. I didn't, of course, but that was a possibility. Yeah, that was they won 119 to 117. Yeah, I really do. Actually, I'm because the Suns don't play the Warriors again in Phoenix this season, and so I might want to. And when I went to the game when they played, I didn't get to see KD play because he was out. So it would be cool to see Kevin Durant play again. Yeah, he had 27 points tonight. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, those are two good Western Conference teams, of course. That was really cool having the Warriors and Kings play each other in the first round of the playoffs last season. You got a battle of NorCal. Second. Yeah, hey, credit to them though. They have not had a lot to cheer about in the past 20 years, so it's good. Happy for them that they're relevant again. We'll just say that. Some of the other games of note that I didn't get into, the Bills Steelers game, of course, was postponed from Sunday to Monday because of the blizzard there. I expected the Bills to get that win. Not too surprised about that, of course, but the Bills play the Ravens next week, and this time it's going to be in Buffalo. My upset pick is I predict that the Bills will not could. Well, I'm not going to say they outright will. My ultimate prediction will be that it will be Niners and Ravens in the Super Bowl, but I kind of low key am thinking that the Bills might get the win. It might end up being a Niners Bills OJ Simpson and Greg Papa Super Bowl. I could see that happening. Yeah, that'll be a great game down to the wire game, like they've always been. The Ravens and Bills in the playoffs have always been a down to the wire game, but Patrick Mahomes at the end comes through. And the Bills have not had the best year this year either. But that may have been a get right game for the Bills. And you could even say that since the Chiefs haven't been playing too well this season too, that game against Miami could have been a get right game for them as well. But I would not be shocked if the Bills were able to finally defeat the Ravens in the postseason. Sorry, I was thinking for a second about how the sorry, my bad. But my ultimate prediction will be Niners Ravens in the Super Bowl. But it wouldn't shock me if we see Niners Chiefs or Niners Bills. Now, and again, I don't want to go too far ahead because we still got to take care of the Packers. We still got to take care of either the Lions or the Buccaneers. But if it is Niners Ravens or Niners Chiefs or Niners Bills, hey, we have not played too well against AFC teams this year, except the Steelers. Of course, the Steelers are actually the only AFC team the Niners did win against this year, week 1. Of course, we played the AFC North. That was the AFC division that we played, and it's every 4 years where we play, where it rotates, where you play the each AFC division every 4 years. Now, of course, the Bengals beat the Niners because that was after Purdy's concussion the week prior to that in the Vikings game. And the Browns game was a game that they would have won if Jake Moody didn't make that field goal. And then, of course, the Ravens was that Christmas game. And another thing of note for that Christmas game, now the main concern is how Purdy threw those 4 interceptions. I think that's the main concern. Not really that the Niners lost to the Ravens. That was a game that I had on my calendar when I was looking at the games that they could possibly lose to. That was on my list for sure. I thought that was a game that they could have lost. But another thing of note about that is with it being Christmas and the Niners being at home for that. So that means that they spent Christmas with their family. They got to do all the normal Christmas stuff, and then they had to play a football game. When you had the Ravens, on the other hand, actually being on a business trip, flying across the country and being already pissed about having to spend Christmas away from their families, I think that's what kind of led to how poorly they showed up for that game. Yeah, the AFC North absolutely manhandled the Niners this year. So I am going to root for the Bills to be the AFC team the Niners do face in the Super Bowl if they're lucky enough to make it there, because I think that will be the best possible matchup for them. I think because, of course, they've already lost to the Ravens and the Chiefs in Super Bowls before. So So obviously, a lot of Niner fans probably want their revenge on both of those teams for that, but I think the Bills would be that's my most desirable matchup. But anyway, it's my birthday in about 30 minutes. I wanted to come on here and stream for a little bit, but I think I'm gonna call it a night now. But Ernesto Rockanuera 84, AJ Cruz, Ernie Chavez, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm always love interacting with you guys in all the chats. KMBR, Damon Bruce at 95.7. Also would like to thank Where You're Hiding, JT56, and SG Sports Talk channel. Oh, but by the way, actually, before I close it down, so Rockin' and AJ and Ernie, so I posted in Damon's chat about how I really was confident that Chubba Purdy was his real name because I actually, one of my friends that I met from working with last year, who I haven't seen in a little while, but I've hung out with from time to time since I stopped working with him. He played high school football with Chubba Purdy, Brock Purdy's younger brother, who of course was a Nebraska quarterback, and I believe he was committed to San Jose State. And I was confident that was his real name because I remember talking about it. I was like, is that his real name? He's like, yeah, that's his name. But it turns out his name is Preston. Like, I died of laughing. I was like, oh, why did I definitely should have verified my sources before I said, oh, his name actually is Chubba Purdy. Thought that was really funny. But Chubba's a cool name. Like, it makes you think of, the Chubba Hubba. There's like a Chubba Hut. Yeah, Chubba Hut sandwiches. Yeah, I've been to that place. There's one in Tempe near ASU and one in Mesa also. I've been to both of those. I think it's been like a few years since I've gone to one, but it's kind of like a big stoner place. So that reminds me of that. That's a cool name. Hey, it would be cool, especially I don't know for sure if Chubba's going to end up committing to San Jose State, but that would really be cool to have him playing in the Bay Area as well. Yeah, that would be funny if they just kept that as his name because of how he's a chubby 1-year-old. So let's call him Chubba. Yeah, actually, I still got to try to go to Brock Purdy's dad's hot tub. I still got to go to Mr. Purdy's hot tub shop in Mesa, and heck, I might want to even buy a hot tub for my parents' house because don't sleep on Arizona winters. Arizona winters can be cold. Like, I know you're probably thinking, you guys are thinking, like, why the fuck would it be cold anytime in Arizona? But the winters can get pretty chilly here, even if it's only in the 40s or 30 degrees at night. It still feels pretty chilly. So a hot tub right now would be really cool to have. I have a pool at my house. I don't have a hot tub, so that maybe if I go in there wearing a pretty jersey, I'll actually get a discount on a hot tub. That would be cool, huh? I'm gonna try to maybe come on again Thursday or Friday night. I might hit up one of my friends who does live streams on here, whose channel is 49er Minded. I was gonna try to do a show with him. So I'm gonna try to do one then. And SG Sports Talk also said that he wanted to do a night at post game with me, so I'm gonna try to maybe do that at 8 or 9 Pacific time on Saturday night after the game, possibly. Because I'm actually going to be in Tempe at the Varsity Tavern, the AZ 49er Empire restaurant and bar for this game. It's real party place on the ASU campus on Mill Avenue. I've only been there for a couple games this year. I'm planning to get there really early because it's going to be packed. So I'm planning to get there really early so I get a good seat for that. That's my plan. And AZ winners are like Vegas, where I'm actually also going to be for the week of the Super Bowl, where hopefully my team, the Niners, will be in it. I'm going to be there. I'm actually going to go there Sunday night after I get off work and then be there Monday Tuesday and Wednesday night, and then drive back to Arizona on Thursday. So that's my plan for Super Bowl week. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, Vegas well, actually, I haven't really been to Vegas in the winter. I've only been there kind of in the summer. But yeah, AZ, or well, I should say specifically Phoenix area, because it does get, if you go up to Flagstaff, it actually does get cold. And so a lot of people will go just drive a couple hours north to go to Flagstaff, and then it'll snow there. But in the area where I live, it somehow, for some reason, seems to, you see snow in the distance like every February the last few years, which wasn't the case before. I mean, it's, in my lifetime I'd seen it before, but now I see it like every couple years at least. I see snow somewhat near me. It actually snowed in my town a lot back a couple years, or 3 years ago, and 6 years ago it snowed, or actually 5 years ago and 3 years ago it snowed in my town. It was an incredible sight to see. So yeah, it would be cool to have a hot tub right now. Maybe Mr. Purdy will sell me one at a discounted rate if I wear his son's jerseys at the store. Who knows? But yeah, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. Thanks to Shafiki that watched on Twitch as well. And I thank everyone for the birthday wishes. Really means a lot. Yeah, thanks to you, to AJ Cruz. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Again, thanks to all you guys for joining. So that's going to do it on my birthday eve, and it is also the 12-year anniversary of when I first made this channel. So, yep, I will most likely see you guys on Thursday or Friday. Thank you so much.